Salesforce Developer interviews in 2026 need to test more than definitions. Most candidates can explain governor limits, SOQL, SOSL, trigger order, and LWC decorators, because those answers are available in every question bank online. But the real question is this: can they build Salesforce solutions that work at 5,000 records, not just 50? The problem with standard Salesforce interview questions is that they often turn the interview into a recitation contest. A candidate can memorize what governor limits are, name the trigger execution order, and define common Salesforce terms without proving they have shipped production quality code. The better interview asks scenario-based questions. What breaks at scale? What fails during deployment? And what happens when clean sandbox assumptions meet messy production data? Apex is still the fastest way to separate production-experienced developers from candidates who only know the theory. It queries related records inside a for loop and performs DML inside that same loop. What is wrong, and how would you fix it? A strong candidate immediately identifies SOQL in a loop and DML in a loop, explains why that fails at volume, and moves the query and DML outside the loop using collections. The key signal is whether they think in batches, not single records. For senior candidates, ask about failure recovery. For example, your batch Apex job processes 10 million records. Halfway through the run, one batch fails. What happens to the records already processed? And what should the developer build to handle partial failure? A strong answer covers tracking progress, collecting errors, rerunning failed chunks, and avoiding duplicate processing. The best candidates usually have a real production story, a batch that failed overnight, a scope size that caused memory pressure, a data job that had to be recovered without corrupting records. One of the most important Salesforce developer interview questions is also one of the simplest.
A requirement needs logic when an opportunity closes one. Would you build it with Apex, Flow, or both? There is no automatic answer.
A strong developer asks about complexity, change frequency, testability, release process, race conditions, and failure behavior.
Candidates who use Apex for everything may overcode the platform. Candidates who use Flow for everything may create automation that becomes hard to maintain at scale. The judgment between declarative and programmatic work is the job. For Lightning Web Components, do not stop at decorator definitions.
Yes, candidates should understand API, wire, and track. But the deeper question is whether they understand modern LWC architecture and reactivity. Ask how a parent component should receive data from a grandchild component. A strong answer explains property binding, custom events, and event bubbling, and when Lightning Message Service is appropriate. The signal is not whether they know the syntax. It is whether they choose the simplest architecture that will remain maintainable. Integration questions are where senior and junior developers separate quickly. Take this: Salesforce is integrating with an external ERP through a REST API, but the ERP endpoint can take up to 12 seconds to respond. How would you architect it? A strong candidate recognizes the risk of synchronous callout timeouts and moves toward asynchronous Apex, queuable jobs, callbacks, polling, or a more resilient integration design. Production integrations fail in ways clean test data never does. They time out. They return unexpected payloads. They change response schemas. Senior developers plan for that. In 2026, Agentforce is becoming a senior-level signal. You do not need every candidate to have multiple full production Agentforce deployments, but they should understand where AI-powered Salesforce belongs. Ask when they would use Agentforce instead of custom Apex automation. A strong answer distinguishes conversational, multi-step, context-dependent workflows from deterministic, high-volume, auditable operations that still belong in Apex. Also ask about prompt builder, grounding, record context, and the Einstein Trust Layer for compliance-sensitive environments. The best Salesforce developer interviews do not reward memorization. They reveal production instinct.
Ask candidates what broke, what failed, what they owned, and how they changed the system afterward.
Because the strongest Salesforce developers are not just the ones with the most certifications. They are the ones who can build solutions that survive real users, real data, and real production pressure.
Whether you're hiring or job hunting, Core One is here to help. Reach out to our team